want to say, I cannot repeat all those words which were said by Jeff Meldrum, because also John Green's books influenced me very much. I read his books, On the Tracks of the Sasquatch, and after the Year of Sasquatch and the File of Sasquatch, or Sasquatch File, it were first books. From these books I learned about studies in North America, and we very, very much respected these activities of John Green, and we understand that due to him, thanks to him, we know about the researches in these countries, in Canada and the United States. And also I want to say that anyway, let us start your show. John Green is a journalist, and I want to recall another journalist who started all these activities, or our activities. It was Ralph Izard, the reporter of Daily Mail from London, and he arranged the first expedition in 1954-55, and I very much respect him also because he prepared his expedition very deeply. He was preparing for 2 years, studying all the materials, gathering some people to enter to this expedition, to include into this expedition. That means the journalists play a very, very important role in this investigation. The honest journalists as John Green and others who do such activities in this field. And just this, I remind you, these first footprints which were shot by Eric Shifter in Himalaya, and after that, please continue. This is the Ralph Izard photo, and I don't know what is his destiny, because I wrote to this Daily Mail newspaper but did not receive answer from them. Please, you can. And some findings of that expedition change. This is scalp of Yeti and hand of Yeti. They were studied at that time in Soviet Union or in Russia by our anthropologist Astanin, who wrote article about that hand. Okay. And this was first imagination of the Yeti made by English Britain anthropologist Vladimir Chernetsky. They thought that it is a great ape like gorilla. But after that expedition, I also want to mention Professor Dr. Porshnev, Boris Porshnev. He was his famous documentary novel called The Struggle for Troglodytes. And I see that this struggle still continued. He wrote that novel in 1968. He was published, not in Russia, in Kazakhstan, in Almaty, because in Russia this subject was just banned, prohibited. But Porshnev studied this question, and even he wrote the monograph, very thick book, which is called The Present State of the Problem of Relict Hominoids. And he is indeed the founder of hominology, new science, new branch of science about such creatures like Bigfoot, Sasquatch, Yeti, snowman. In our country we use mostly this name, snowman, because somebody you can read in newspaper Alma. It is not the name of such creature. They call him Almas in Mongolia. They call Almasty in Caucasus, but in short, in small regions. But in mass media, usually we use this name snowman because it was and it is originated from English name abominable snowman. This is Jana Kaufman, also a veteran of studying this problem. I first started my expedition in 1965 in her expedition, of Jana Kaufman. She is only a veteran, still live in Russia. She is now 92, but she had some heart attack and now lives in Paris for 2 years and half paralyzed. But she still has a clear mind, and we communicate to her. Please. And some. This was mustache. It is Mongolian academician Rinchen, who also supported this investigation, and me here, and Bayanov, and Jana Kaufman, and Zeligman, Evelina, who is late. Change, please. Next folder, please. You see, it was what we had into the end of the second millennia and 20th century. We had reports about encounters. For example, now there's a medical officer, sub-colonel Karapetyan, who studied this creature captured during the World War II on the Caucasus in 1941. He even was catching him alive, and he came to one barn and just looked, one hairy man, a giant one, standing there, not moving, and he catch him. That was not reacting, and he started to pull hairs from his body, no reaction. After he started to pull the hairs from nose, and that time was something normal. And after that, he said, "I don't know. It is not terrorist. It is not refugee of army. What we say, deserter. But it is some wild man. I don't know what he did." After he said, ask local people, "What will you do with him?" They said, "This is a war. What they ordered us. Maybe we kill him. Maybe we catch, let them go. I don't know." The people said to him. Next, please. Another case was narrated by general of KGB, Kapilsky. Once they were following one gang of so-called Basmachi in Middle Asia, in Pamir Mountains. And they occasionally killed one such creature, and it was absorbed by their doctor who was in that detachment. That doctor was made measurements, and some they opened even eyes to look what is the color of the eyes, brown eyes and other things. And other said we should go. It was in 1925. No camera, no other equipment they had, and they should go to the mountains. They could not take this body with them, and they just dig them into the ice and went away. there are such kind of data, the reports of eyewitnesses. Second, please. This is some other reports in my daughter-in-law, Igor Burtsev, made pictures of the events. Once, one woman in Caucasus, it was the first eyewitness I saw her, and she told us, she narrated us about her meeting in the Raven with such creature who is called Almasli. And after that she was ill, and we just spoke to her after 2 days of this happened. Please. This is another case. In 1948, it happened in South Azerbaijan. One militiaman was captured by these creatures, and all the night, was a woman who was playing with him, but her mat maybe was standing there behind, and also was not satisfied of such playing. Maybe he was jealous. But after that, he recalled that he has a gun with him, but he forgot about it. When they escaped, after that he went away, and at that moment only he understood that he had gun with him. That means revolver, and he lost his cap there after he turned back and take the cap. And he was ill after that also. I met him also in South Azerbaijan, and he narrated me this story. Please. And this is in Mongolia. One of the eyewitnesses wrote such imagination, how they look out. And then now they sleep in such position, please, in Mongolia also. There are also Mongolian picture. I was in Mongolia in 1976 in expedition of academician Akladnikov, our academician. It was United Expedition, Soviet Mongolian cultural expedition. And they draw some eyewitnesses narrated, and artists draw this picture of Almas. This is Almas. And this is one case happened also like Albert Ostman. One Mongolian teacher was captured with almases, and two female almases were guarded him in the cave until they lost their interest to him. They brought him a meal, they feed him, and after that he could not escape. He had some matches, he was cooking some meat, they brought the meat to him. But after that, when they lost their interest to him, he captured from them. And this case was narrated by this teacher to our doctor, Shastin, who worked in Mongolia. And this girl, Nina Grinyova, she saw the bigfoot, or we call it Gosha, hominoid, in the Pamira line 1979 when I was in that expedition. She was expedition member, and once at 12 o'clock at night she went to the mountain alone. She said, today I should see him. He will come. He felt him. She felt herself. And she went there, was waiting a little half an hour. It was moon, and just one creature appeared and started to come closer to her and stopped. And after that, she imagined that he is very kind, and she made one step to him. But at this time, that turned and quickly escaped to the side of the river. She was 18 years that time. Next. No, it was one that encountered, but also some footprints. Here today we discussed much about footprints. Please continue. This, you know, this Grover Grant's made reconstruction of the skeleton. This is my finding in 1979 that I was a cast of footprint in Pomeralai Mountain, at the same place where that Nina Grinova saw that creature. Please. Next file, please. This is René, film, third date, film, Patterson film. Yeah, here Chris Murphy was talking about this, but he did not say that I helped him to reconstruct that scheme of the model, correct model, which he made. And you see, in 1971, in December, René Dahinden brought this film to Moscow, and he was about 5 weeks in Moscow, and we visited many scientific institutions there in Moscow, showed this film, etc. And after that, we studied this film. We attracted specialists of various fields. For example, biomechanicist, Donskoy, Dmitry Donskoy, he was chief of the chair in the institute, chief of biomechanics. He said, no, it is, this movement is not of human. It is, this graph was made by me. It was necessary to determine which was the speed of camera, 16 frames in a second or 24. It was not clear. Even Patterson himself could not say about this because he was excited and he did not remember what was the 24 or 16. And to determine the speed of a camera, I made this graph. I made every frame of the, at that time was no computer. I just used the photographic equipment and looked every frame and noted the movement of the head. And this is a graph of a shocking camera. When he was running, camera was hesitating. Yes, and according to this graph, I calculated that he made 4 steps in a second. It is normal. That means the speed was 16 frames in a second. But if he shot on 24 frames in a second, that means he should make 7 steps per second. It is not possible for the man of Patterson. Yes? That is why we came to conclusion that the step of the speed of the camera was 16, please. This is that scheme of, it was published in book, first version of Chris Murphy, and it was such a phrase that René Dahinden said, drawn this scheme, but now he is late and I cannot ask anybody about details. I wrote him. I made this diagram. I can answer your question. And after that we start to correspond, and I sent him 12 photographs from that site with René Dahinden's measurements on the between stumps, between trees, etc., etc. And we calculated, and I draw this diagram or scheme how it was made. But I told to Chris that his model is not correct because the log on the first in front of the camera is too long. It should be small. You see, there is 3 angle should be not, but he prolonged that log which was written. Yes, here it is. Okay, it is some details which is not maybe important. Finally, as a publisher, I published this book by Bayana, America's Bigfoot, Fact Not Fiction, in 1997. Yes, this book, all dedicated to study of Patterson film, and we proved in 70s that this film is real. And now to discuss some details of this film, as we say, it is just to catch lice. But yes, we say so, to catch lice. What is, I don't know, somebody maybe sick imagination allowed to Davis. He made very nice work before when we contacted to him, cooperated to him. He made very nice thing. But after he started to say that somebody shoot this party, this female, and others, it is just I don't want to discuss it. But this book you can buy here from Hancock Publishers. This is also another book, Russian Snowman. It was written in 1996 by Bayana. But this my book. It is written just now. It is bad edited. I was in a hurry to bring here, and I printed only 40 copies. That is why they will be sold maybe too expensive, some maybe $50, but because it is very expensive in production. So, but there are many color pictures here and black and white pictures. So, all 200 pictures printed in this book. I recommend to who wants to take. Please continue. This is frames of the film. It is a drawing by my first wife. She's dead now. This is my sculpture. I myself made this sculpture. It is only one sculpture in my life which I made. Please continue. And this is a sculpture made by my wife Alexandra at that time, who is late now. Next. This is drawing by my daughter-in-law, Igor Burtsev. Next. This is she drawing the portrait of Patty Bigfoot, as we call her, according to Patterson. It is we who give her this name, not Americans. We gave her that name. But somebody accused them. Some Americans did. No, Russians did. This is that one. And John Green visited in 1997. We held the conference dedicated to the 30th anniversary of this film, Patterson film. And Grover Krantz was there in Moscow, and that is me with my sculpture. And John Green visited. He is in my home now on this photo, please. And this were at home. My wife, Alexandra, we divorced, but we contacted her, and the participants of that conference gathered here. Donskoy here, Grover Krantz, and John Green is photoing. That is why he is behind the frame. Please continue. And this is just joke, comparison. You know, it is Serena Williams, tennis player. And this is a party, and this is artist in the fur. Who says that artist in the fur was in Patterson? Let them to look at this picture only. It is enough to understand that it is just stupid idea that somebody was for code shot. Please. Next file. But I did not tell about New Thorn. Just to conclude, this is a Polish anthropologist reconstruction. Quickly, I will speak and you. This is where I excavating Zana case when in Abkhazia with Professor Dr. Burchak Abramovich, famous paleontologist in our country, please. This is a skull of Kvit, son of Zana. We still investigating, and this is Kvit's photo. Please continue. And some pictures connected to this. Son of Kvit and other. You, next file, open the next file, please. You see what is the new. The new, we start to work with this stick structure, and we found this stick structure in many. This is Janice case, please, quickly. Janice, also, this my daughter-in-law, draw this picture according to Janice explanation. Yes, this, for example, I photographed Janice, and after she made this, my daughter-in-law made this collage. These are footprints which we found in the basement of her house. And I have no doubt that there were real footprints left by Sasquatches in her house in the Tennessee, called old farm. And this is Janice hanging food for Sasquatches. And this is just, we show how Fox was coming out from the basement. This is door of the basement, and Janice standing here with camera. She wanted to photograph him, but he quickly escaped. And that photograph which was taken for making that collage, you see. And this is present of Bigfoot left for me, as I understood, in that basement on the chair. They just put some necklace in the just last word. You see, in our country now, we are preparing the international conference under the patronage of the governor of Kemerovo region in Siberia. And we shall have such international conference somewhere maybe in July or August. And they will invite investigators, scientists from various countries, from Australia, you saw here, from China, from United States, from Canada, and from France, from Germany, to participate in that conference. That means now, if science does not recognize this subject, but authority, government authority, start to recognize this problem, and they, we hope that we shall continue, we shall develop this work. I could show more things, but unfortunately, the organizer did not limit skeptics here, but they limit